Well, why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying, kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly.
What should have been a diplomatic meeting turned into a global embarrassment. Trump accused South Africa of genocide using footage that wasn't even from the country and called for Julius Malema arrest. Meanwhile, Ramaphosa stayed calm and composed, but Americans were furious and their reaction online is fierce. Many are calling it a disgrace, a diplomatic embarrassment, and a clear case of misinformation gone wild. Let's take a look at what people are saying, then we come back with some commentary.
Can we stop letting Donald Trump meet with world leaders? Please, how do we make this happen? President Trump confronted South African President CYRIL Ramaphosa and accused his government of mass killings and land seizures targeting white people. And the reality is South Africa does have one of the world's highest crime rates, and the vast majority of victims are black South Africans, not white South Africans. Despite online chatter, there's no evidence of a white genocide or state-sanctioned land grabs. This moment actually reminds us of the time he met with Zelensky and ambushed him in front of the entire world as well. And then, said out loud, well, I guess America is willing to take a bribe if you're going to send us a jet like our friends in the Middle East did.
Sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay.
He's saying this on a national stage, people. This is embarrassing. It's corruption. It's everything that's wrong in the world. As he's telling a world leader what's happening in his country, and none of it's true, as he decides to take in the white refugees. Those are the good ones, according to Trump land. And everyone else, get out. But yes, more embarrassing moments with Trump and world leaders on a national stage. It's embarrassing, spreading lies, quietly saying he would take bribes on a national stage. Just a bad look for America. Can we please stop Donald from meeting with world leaders? Please.
What do you mean in 2025 we have the leader of the free world sharing the most atrocious form of disinformation, and people still smiling? Like, I don't even know where to begin, but that entire meeting was a trigger through and through. And I will applaud Ramaphosa for his diplomacy, because he's way better than me. He's way better than almost anybody.
President CYRIL Ramaphosa of South Africa, take a bow. You are Black excellence. Have you seen the showdown that happened between President Ramaphosa and President Trump at the White House about this whole white genocide situation happening in South Africa? President Ramaphosa is so strategic and so smart. He knew that as a Black South African, he would not get the ear of the type of president Trump is. So he brought with him in his delegation 3 white South Africans, including his Minister of Agriculture, who were also saying to Trump, this whole story of genocide of white farmers in South Africa is false. Didn't work. Did not work. The Afrikaner white refugees that came to America recently are all famous people. Golfers, there's a billionaire in there. So the theory is that Elon Musk has planted the seed in Trump's ear with his other right-wing allies that there is this genocide of white people going on in South Africa. They also provided him with the absolute proof in this video from this minority political party in South Africa. This political party was spewing a lot of hate rhetoric towards white farmers and were advocating for unaliving them. The gag is, though, that this was a very tiny minority grouping that has absolutely no political power and cannot influence South African policies. So Trump showing that video shows that he really does not understand who is calling the shots in South Africa, because that video totally just discredited his claim of genocide, and he did not even realize that. I give so much credit to President Ramaphosa. He was poised, he was diplomatic, he was articulate, he made sense. Perfect representation of strong African leadership. South Africa, you should feel so proud of your president.
What Trump did to the South African president has to go down as one of the most savage moves in political history. He set the man down, and as he was getting comfortable, he said, "Dim the lights and roll the tape. And let's see what your political alliances, what your political figures in South Africa is saying, just so they can put the record straight, that you are calling for the genocide of white people." And so Democrats in this country now have two options. They can either side with Trump or they can side with genocide. I'll give you two guesses as to what they're going to do, but you only need one.
If you don't think Donald Trump is racist, then you did not just witness what happened between him and the South African president in the Oval Office while they were supposed to be discussing coming together on a bill. Donald Trump never gave a fuck about Gaza. He never gave a fuck about you. So for everybody who said, "Oh my goodness, we are voting for him because Joe Biden allowed a mass genocide to happen," Donald Trump just asked the South African president in the Oval Office why he allowed white refugees to go through a genocide in South Africa. Do you know how fucking crazy that is? The same white refugees he brought here to take all the farmland that the government seized that have no farming skills. Same immigrants from Africa that their entire lineage is known for killing Africans to take their land. Yeah, he just asked the president of South Africa, the black president, why he allowed them to experience a genocide and confronted him on a genocide in South Africa. That is not fucking happening, by the way. It's not happening. So for everyone who's like, "Oh, well, why would we vote for Biden?" And did he ask the leader of Israel why he's encouraging a genocide? Or seizing the Gaza Strip? Or unaliving thousands of people daily? No, but he asked in the name of white refugees. Okay, what fucking timeline are we in? What fucking timeline are we in that our president is ignoring having parts in a war that has actively been an actual genocide, but instead turned to racism and these white refugees who literally are descendants of some of the worst racists in the world, and asked their president why he'd allowed them to experience genocide? That didn't happen. I need to get the fuck out of this place. I need to get out of this place. We're doomed. We're going the wrong way.
Donald Trump seems to be on a mission to have ever increasingly embarrassing meetings in the Oval Office. Most recently, he hosted the president of South Africa, who he looked in the face and told, "Your country has a white genocide." And the president was like, "Well, respectfully, no, that's not happening." And Donald Trump's like, "Yes, it is." And then he pulled out evidence, only that evidence has all been debunked. Like, he showed a video of all of these little white crosses along a roadway. And Donald Trump said, these are burial sites right here. And then he said, each one of these white things you see is a cross. There's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. Those people are all killed, Trump added. Yeah, so first of all, apparently people are just buried on top of each other along a roadway, by his logic. No, those are not burial sites, nor do they represent dead farmers, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can take the word of the man who put up those crosses. There were 2 farmers who were killed. And as part of a protest to that, they went along this roadway and put white crosses up that were then removed after the protest. They didn't represent individual people. It was just about these 2 people. Then Donald Trump showed a video where a person in a red beret repeatedly chants, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," and speaks about taking land without compensation. That person is Julius Malema, who founded the small but radical party Economic Freedom Fighters after being expelled from the African National Congress, of which the president is a member. And after playing that video, the president explained to Donald Trump that does not represent the policies of this government. South Africa's opposition agricultural minister also said many parties had worked to keep extremists out of government. That guy and his group are extremists. They are not in power. And then Donald Trump pulled out a photo and he's like, these are dead white people who were killed in the genocide. The picture he's showing is from the Congo, because Africa is a continent that has many countries within it. It wasn't in South Africa that happened. It was in the Congo. And in response, the president of South Africa, who had to sit there and be berated by a man who confidently declared things that were categorically false and used evidence that was inaccurate and not true, his only response he could really say was, I'm sorry I don't have a plane to give you. Because apparently this administration, if you do something like gift them a plane, they forgive all kinds of terrible things. But today, my feed is full of conservative creators who all made the same video where they look at the camera and have music playing and they nod as text on the screen reads, Donald Trump confronting the president of South Africa about the white genocide is exactly what I voted for. Is it? You voted for theatrics based on conspiracy theories that are false, using fake information? That's what you voted for? Meanwhile,
yesterday we witnessed this.
Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried.
No, this image doesn't show white farmers being buried in South Africa. In fact, the image shows Red Cross workers in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Just another lie by President Trump.
Trump steady trying to embarrass these presidents. You can't do the South African president like you did the Ukrainian president. It got turned up in that Oval Office, okay? And it's annoying, like, we bringing these presidents here just so that we can embarrass them and insult their presidency. For what? You're just trying to push your racist agenda. Refugees only for white South Africans. We're not stupid. We don't believe it. I mean, us as Americans, we just don't get no power to change it. But, like, we're not stupid. At least I'm not stupid.
I saw the meeting that President Donald Trump had with the South African president. And it was interesting, to say the least. I don't know where President Donald Trump is getting his information from, but he is convinced that all the media that he's seen around white South African farmers being is just like the absolute truth. And I'm not saying countries don't have propaganda and don't manipulate media, but the South African president was just like, bro, that's not true. Well, he didn't say that's not true. What he said was farmers are getting, no matter what their race is. So it's just, it's odd that you're focused on the white farmers, but it's like we have a problem with farmers being like, people take land in South Africa. It don't matter what race you are. But President Donald Trump was not hearing. He had articles printed up. He even stopped the meeting to play some video. I couldn't see the video from my angle, but I heard it. And I know what video he was playing because I've seen that video. He was playing when some leader was singing that song, that South African song. They talk about the farmer and the boer and all that. Then he also showed a clip of the cars lined up riding past the white crosses that's been on social media. And people saying those are the white farmers that have been. And it was funny because the South African president was like, where is that? I've never seen that. And President Trump was like, oh yeah, that's the spot where, they buried all the white farmers and they go to appreciate them, they line up. And the South African president was like, I have no idea where that is. He was like, yeah, team. He's like, when we go back home, let's get on that. Let's find out where this place is. And President Donald Trump is just convinced that he's showing the president of South Africa more about his country than he knows. Oh my God. I applaud the president of South Africa's decorum during that meeting because he was so patient with President Donald Trump and saying, like, look here, at this point, I don't care what you believe. Let's just find a way to work together, to be partners and and get along, trade, do whatever we got to do to be partners. Like, believe what you want to believe, bro. I'm here to work. I don't know about you. Oh man, that meeting was way funnier than it should have been.
This wasn't just a political blunder. It was a moment that laid bare the disrespect, the ignorance, and the dangerous power of misinformation. President Ramaphosa showed restraint and leadership under pressure, but the damage was done. What we need is for Africans and allies alike to demand accuracy, respect, and dignity in international discourse. The world must stop speaking about Africa and start listening to Africa. If this moment doesn't wake people up to the need for media literacy and global accountability, I don't know what will. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you found value in what you shared, kindly consider subscribing and turn on notifications so you don't miss any update from our videos. Your support truly means a lot, and it helps us keep bringing you more insightful content. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.